One Friday fights, 1:15 took place Friday yesterday, which was at 2:30 South African time. We did a fantastic live for that. This is going to be our recap show. We had Suriyanlek beating Rambong in the second round by a KO. Gingsanglek returns with a vicious head kick knockout over Alexey Balyko. Avad Gordon successfully on his second fight in one championship. So stay tuned for the recap on Fighting with Friends. Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Fight with Friends. It's your boy, Brother Guy, back with another recap of One Friday Fights 115. And as always, we will start at the top of the card. And before I do that, I want to just thank everybody for tuning into our live that we did yesterday for this particular fight card. Big ups to Sniff for the donation. Big ups to Utam staying in contact with us throughout the live. In the comments, it really made it fantastic for myself and for as well as for Adrian. It meant a lot, and I'm looking forward to doing more of these lives with you guys coming up in the new weeks. But for now, let's go at the top of the card and recap this amazing fight card. Even though there was a little bit of a lackadaisical approach from one championship in terms of like the media for this fight card, literally everything only came out the day before the time, like late Thursday night for us in South Africa. So it was like, why do we have to wait that long to get information about this card? And well, at the end of the day, it delivered. The card definitely delivered. So let's go. Top of the card. Come back. Why did it do that now? Let's go top of the card. Here we go. Rambong, the first Suriyanlek. And this was a great fight. This was 132 pounds. So what's that? These guys are just under the bantamweight mark. Yeah, just under. Bantamweight with regards to one championship's bantamweight requirements, and this was a good fight. This was a very good fight for as long as it lasted. I did say we didn't do a preview, unfortunately, but we did do the live, and in the live I was saying that these guys are kind of evenly matched. I will tip it to Suriyanlek just a little bit because of the power advantage and also the durability advantage. He's not as fast as Rambong, but he definitely has that power advantage and that durability, and that was what was happening. When they fought the first round, I would go as far as to say that Rambong won that first round, but just ever so slightly. He was being more active in those exchanges, fighting when they were outside of the void, and even when they got inside the void. But whenever Suriyanlek would initiate those car crash moments, he would come off best. He would come off winning those moments. He would actually get the better of it every single time. And Rambong was starting to slow down. There was moments where, towards the end of that first round, where Suriyanlek really started to take it to him, and you could see Rambong's body language was that of someone that was thinking, I don't know if I'm going to be able to last it going all the way. You could see he looked a little bit jaded in the eyes, and he was covering up. And at the end of that round, Suriyanlek landed a very good left hook on him, and it made his head bounce back. And Rambong, I didn't like the way he took that shot. So I was thinking, oh, I think Suriyanlek's got this guy. I think he definitely has him. And then when they got to the second round, yeah, Suriyanlek, he already does best, dude. He chases you down and he makes it an ugly fight. And I noticed also Suriyanlek was kicking the inside leg a lot of the time also, which was good because that set up his boxing combinations. We had the advantage. His boxing combinations are not as clean as Rambong's. Let's put it that way. There's no jab 2, jab 1, a jab 2, 3. He doesn't go 2, 3, then 4, 3. What he'll do is Suriyanlek will just come into you, kick your legs, and he get into the void. And once he's in the void, it's just 3 2s, 3 4s to the body, to the head, to the body, to the head, and just throws hooks the whole time. And that's why he gets people out of there. And he can take your shot as well. He's very durable, and I think that's his advantage. And also, what to my surprise is that he also leveled up his defense. Suriyanlek used to get punched a lot when he closes down in the void and he gets it into a firefight with somebody. But in this fight, he kept his hands up, and I was actually quite impressed in that. He kept his hands up and sorry, I just want to move this. Yeah, he kept his hands up, and he was actually blocking a lot of the shots that came at him. And I thought that was a good thing to take away from the fight in terms of what Suriyanlek did better in his previous fights, Quite good knockout, because then when he got to the kill shot, he basically walked Rambong down until the corner, basically, to the corner, to the turnbuckle, and then just let the right hand go, bang, off a stepping knee from Rambong. Right hand lands, basically puts him out there, and then goes in, and then lands another 2 punches and even downward elbow, or attempted the downward elbow, while the guy was already out, like full on killer mode. AD was saying the whole time, this looks like we witnessed a murder. But Suriyanlek put him away, and it was a great finish at the end of the day, and good main event, even though they weren't. I don't think they weren't supposed to be main event, if I'm not mistaken. But it was a good win and a great performance from him. And I think Rambong now has finally lost the fight. He was in a 7-fight win streak coming into the fight, so he finally took that loss. And he's still young, 28 years old. Suriyanlek was only 28 years old, so there's a lot for these guys still to do when they go forward in their careers. And I think Suriyanlek, he didn't get the contract. He did get 350K bonus. I would like to see him fight the contract fighter next, so that we can start moving him into more high. I won't say high profile, because there's a lot of high profile fights, but moving into a more a bigger and heavy card, where there's a lot of eyes on it. He literally fought back-to-back pay-per-view events before this fight, 172 and 170. So my guy is being prioritized by one championship in a particular way, and I think they should definitely give him a contracted fighter or a fighter for a contract. So I'm thinking Asa 10 Pau doesn't have a contract. He's obviously like making a lot of noise about that. So I would go instead of Asa 10 Pau versus Muay Thai, because Muay Thai is flyweight, so he's a lot smaller. Even though we beat Asa 10 Pau beat Seksan. You could see that Asa 10 Pau was a bit bigger than him, more powerful, and I think Suriyanlek can make the bantamweight weight limit. So I think let them go at each other. It'll be a great fight to watch. You've got the power puncher in Suriyanlek versus the high level assassin-like approach that Asa 10 Pau approaches the fight. So I would love to see that one, and also the winner there must definitely get the contract. So I think one championship, if you are listening and tuning in, Chowdhury, Nick Atkins, Tatsuya, all of you guys, let the one championship know. Put Asa 10 Pau against Suriyanlek. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Who you would like to have to see these two athletes on screen fight next? Where the comment section is, drop it in there. Let us know. But let's keep it moving, do all that fun things. Then we had a co-main event, which was just devastating. This one was also what popped off in our comments when we did the live. Alexey Balyko, he lost to Gingsanglek by KO in the first round, and it was absolutely vicious. Flyweight, it's good to see Alexey Balyko make it to this division. I mean, he was fighting bantamweight for quite some time, and to see him come down to flyweight was really good. And he looked shredded. He looked like he really, made the weight really nicely. And I felt that maybe his style was going to be something difficult for Gingsanglek to catch, just because he moves so well, right? Alexey Balyko moves really well, and his footwork is one of his best weapons, and he can also do spinning attacks. And he's just very elusive in his strikes. Not a lot of power in his shots, but yeah, he can beat you up over the course of the fight and win on points quite easily. And I thought that's what he was going to do in this fight. It was just dance around Gingsanglek, make him chase, block some of the elbows, make him chase, and then just tag him in every moment, just pepper those jabs, just pepper him. But Gingsanglek had a game plan for sure, and he found out when he noticed that they fought on the opposite stance. Immediately his first weapon that he threw when the fight started was a high kick to the head, and it landed. And it dropped Alexey Balyko instantly. And Balyko got up, but he looked so rocked and so like he was still seeing 3-4 Gingsangleks coming at him. You could see that he wasn't in the fight after that high kick. And he was attempting to fight back, but I could tell in his body language, no, his body shut down from that kick already, and he's just walking on I wouldn't want to say pride, it's just instinct that he's just got to stay in the fight. But he couldn't do anything about it because Gingsanglek had that left-sided weapons on point, because he even threw a straight left hammer kick, an elbow as well, and Alexey Balyko didn't have to defend any of it. In fact, Alexey Balyko, what he did was he was actually dipping to his right to defend the left-sided weapons, which was you dipping towards the left-sided weapons. So it's basically impact versus impact. So when the kick does land or a punch does land, it's going to be worse than what it is if you move in the opposite way. If you're going to your left, then you can maybe take less off that punches or kicks coming from the left side. But he goes in towards the kick, and his guard was actually down instead of up. His guard was here, and he took that kick like that. And I was like, nah, dude. Kick shut him down, got back up. Gingsanglek knew the fight was basically finished there. He walked him down, threw another high kick. Off that high kick, spinning back elbow, forearm, whatever you want to call it, because it hit more of the forearm. And Alexey Balyko's lights were shut out, bro. Like instantly, my guy was astral traveling for sure. Hands were up, rocket boots on, leaving the stadium. It was probably, I would say, more devastating than the knockout that was done by Suriyanlek. Even though Suriyanlek's knockout was also ugly because he knocked when he landed at that right hand on Rangbok. Rangbok was out but still standing, but he was out. And Stillek just not even jogged, just walked up to him so nice and smooth. Bang! Did it again. And I was like, ugh, that is just sickening. But this one with Alexey Balyko and Gingsanglek was not as, I don't want to say uncouth, but it doesn't. It's technique, it's fighting. Okay, cool. Suriyanlek was more like, I'm gonna take this man's life. You know what I mean? Even I'm not saying he did murder the guy, but it just looked like that. You know, it just looked like Suriyanlek was very, very killer instinct was switched on for sure. Where Gingsanglek was like, you could see he was game planning that high kick, he game planned that technique a lot for this fight because of the open stances and because what was really important is that Alexey Balyko does this kickboxing bounce. Hey, where's my light dying? Ow. Stay on. Actually, just go off. It's fine. Bounce. And it's like this 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. He does it. And then he'll come in, go out, and he'll come in, he'll go again. And Gingsanglek timed that. He timed that bounce. Every time Alexey Balyko would bounce forward, he would throw a kick, bang, and it'll land. And yeah, it looked to me like he game planned that. It didn't look like it was a, it didn't look like it was how do you say? Like, oh yeah, in the comments, Utam was saying it could have looked like a lucky punch or a lucky kick, but it didn't feel like that to me. It felt like it was very prepped. It was very game planned and made for a good win. I'm not sure now if Gingsanglek got a bonus for that. I can't remember now, but dude, that was a crazy finish. So go watch this fight card back. The link will be is in our live description. We didn't do a preview, so I'll drop the link in this description as well, and you can go and check out this fight card back. But you see, what a knockout! Just brutal. I remember watching it back again last night, and I watched it with one of my friends, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, that was that intense. Gets you out of your seat kind of stuff." So, not too sure who they should fight next. Alexey Balyko, of course. If I'm not mistaken, he's a contracted fighter, so that definitely bolsters a lot of Gingsanglek's stock, and I think he can definitely now. He's corrected his win streak. He went from 3-5 losing streak to now getting a win. So they could give him someone else. He's only 24. He's probably gonna have to fight a few more times in one championship in the Friday fight scores before he can move on to a more contract heavy bout. He's probably gonna have to run it back with one of the guys he lost to. He's not gonna get Kong Thorani anytime soon. So you probably want to run it back with either Igor Bekriev or Joachim Oragi. Those are the two guys he lost to outside of Kong Thorani. So you could run it back with one of them. Flyweight division is quite stacked, so there's a lot of fighters that he can go on. I'm just not too sure who would make the most sense because you're coming off a 3-5 losing streak, beating Alexey Balyko. It's great. It's a good win, but he's gonna have to do more. He's gonna have to do more than that to really start climbing that ranking. He's happy that he's making weight. That's first and foremost a fantastic sign. So he could make his way. He's probably like 2 more fights away from fighting one of the youngsters. One of the Stupanan guys. Klamakau lost the fight. He could go against Klamakau. That's not a bad fight. Diego Paez won. I don't think they'll give him Diego Paez since Diego Paez is coming into it with being a former champion and so on. So Gingsanglek, this matches to make for him. But it's gonna have to be someone that's not contracted and someone that's unranked first before you can get there. But where the comment section is, ladies and gentlemen, let me know, please. We'll keep it moving. I'll keep it moving to this bout where we saw Mai Sangkum beating Pet Sangwan by unanimous decision. And this was a brawl, A-grade brawl from between two fantastic fighters. The same way Suriyanlek fights, Mai Sangkum fights exactly the same way. Head down, bite down the mouthpiece, keep your guard nice and tight, and then you get into the void, and then we're going to Dempsey roll, and we're gonna just slug it out here. And it sounds like it's a reckless abandonment, and it can appear to be reckless abandonment when you watch it, but there's a lot of technique behind it, and there's also a lot of strategy behind it because, that style stands a very high risk of getting tagged against someone that's maybe elusive with elbows and sidestepping and lateral movement. They can get you like that, So you have to be very safe in doing that, and he was doing that really well in the first round. He was really beating up Pet Sangwan in that first round. Mai Sangkum was landing on him every single time. Doesn't kick often. I want to see him kick more. but he doesn't kick a lot. But his punches was getting the job done in that first round. And I did say on stream that Pet Sangwan is going to have to do something to fight back here, because if he continues like this, he's going to get beaten up badly. He must make it a fight, because right now it's one-sided. And in the second round, he did exactly that. He fought back. He utilized his reach advantage. He kicked the body more of Muay Sangkum, attacked the legs as well. And then when Muay Sangkum did come in, Pet Sangwan was starting to land elbows in those exchanges, which was really good, because it started to make Muay Sangkum slow down and rethink that entry, and couldn't just be so gun-ho and go hard the whole time. And so the second round was very even in that regard. I was still tipped towards Muay Sangkum purely because he landed more and those damaging strikes, as opposed to Pet Sangwan, who was a lot of the times was countering. And even though he landed in those counter striking, there wasn't enough to stop the strategy of Muay Sangkum. Muay Sangkum was still controlling the fight. And then in the third round, it was literally more of the same. Pet Sangwan started the round very strong. He had a good 40-second burst. We was really tagging Muay Sangkum a lot. And then when they got off that 40 seconds, Muay Sangkum went back to work and started taking the fight to Pet Sangwan, getting him back the ropes, attacking the body work, just attacking the body consistently, going up, then coming down, and just making it a barrage of overwhelming strikes. And did a really good job. He's a straight up G for sure. I think he's on a win streak as well. He was, excuse me. He was on a 7-fight, I think, or something like that. Yeah, six fight win streak, and then he lost to Watarapun, and then he went. And now he's gone back into the win column. So 122 pounds. So what's that? Flyweight. Flyweight's 125. So yeah, again, like I said earlier, flyweight division is stacked. So it'll probably make him fight again another fighter that's not contacted. But if he continues to do what he does, he's gonna definitely be starting to become more recognizable. I do believe that the strategy of Muay Sangkum is gonna have to change going forward, because the more higher he's gonna get up the rankings, the more difficult the fights are gonna be against, more talented fighters that are, just came back from my run. Talented fighters that are able to mitigate that danger and actually really beat him up. Lateral movements, take his body, take his legs out. Similar to what Wacharapun was doing, basically, just utilizing a multiple weapons to slow down the power punching of Muay Sangkum. So yeah, need to see who they're gonna give him next. I can't really think of the top of my head right now who. But if I must think who I would like to see him fight, we could give him Freddie Haggerty to get Freddie Haggerty back on track. I don't know if he still wants to fight. Sounds like he still wants to fight. So Muay Sangkum would be a very good fight for him. I would deal with the power punching, and also to be a kind of a low-key tune-up fight for Haggerty, just to bring him back into the win column after losing to Jordan. Yeah, to Jordan Estupinan. Yeah, it was Jordan Estupinan. But for Pet Sangwan, still very young. That was his second fight in one championship, and now he's got back-to-back losses. No shame in that. It's only the start of his career in one championship, so I'm sure he will come back and do a good job again. So, because he looked good. I like his height. I like the way he utilized his height. So, I want to see him come back. And put that weapons on display and get a little bit better in his defense, and not be so shell-shocked by who he's fighting, because he looked a little bit like he was taking pictures in that fight and he wasn't, being aggressive. But that could also be because of Muay Sangkum just being so tough. But it was a great fight, really great fight. This was also a good fight. This was a rematch. Chat Pichit took on Kun Suk at the Muay Thai, and you know what? On stream, I remember on live stream, I was saying Chat Pichit is probably going to win the fight because he won the first one, and he did a very good job in that first one as well. So it's like, I don't know what Kun Suk's going to do differently, because he can't really knock him out. He struggles to do that. Doesn't really have a lot of knockouts to his name. He kind of just beats you on decision. So I was like, how's he going to win? And then now on the night, I was saying that was the one thing, I'm going to go with that one. But I do want Kun Suk to win, because I like him. I like his buzz. I like his attitude. And he's also fun to watch. He's a fun character to watch to fight. Very stylistically good. And he was doing really well in this fight. They were going back and forth a lot. It was pretty much 50-50 for the majority of the fight, actually. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, Kun Suk actually did really well in the round 2. I think he lost round 3 for sure. But the round 2 and round 1, round 2, I think he might have won that one because he was being more active. Round 1, he was being more active, and he was striking in every moment, whether he was going forward, whether he was going backwards, whether he was defending or taking offense. He was actually being the one that was dictating that pace in that first round. not as powerful as Chatpuchit, obviously. You could see even by their size. And then the second round, Chatpuchit obviously took the center of the cage of the ring and made it his place. And he was being more dominant in that second round in terms of not getting hit as much this time and then landing more of his power shots. But Kuntsuk still took it to him. Kuntsuk was still the one that was kind of leading the dance if you think about the face, but he wasn't really taking Chatpuchit out of there, and that's what resulted in Chatpuchit still staying there. You know what I mean? Because then when they went to the third round, it was again more back and forth between the two guys, but Chatpuchit still was able to land more devastating blows. And taking the shots from Kuntsuk better. He started to check those kicks a lot more. He didn't take the kicks like he was in the first round. So yeah, he won the fight by unanimous decision. It wasn't the most explosive between the two guys. It wasn't like the fight to go on the fight card, like what the hell. But still great fight regardless. Atom Muay Thai is starting to shape up really nicely now, so I like that. Oh, so these guys weren't flyweight. These were strawweight, guys. Strawweight, sorry. That's strawweight. Not atom weight. Not flyweight. So that means Suriyanlek, they were fighting also close to the flyweight mark. No, they were fighting bantamweight. Yeah, that was bantamweight. No, that was flyweight. Bantamweight is 140. Yeah. So they were fighting flyweight. So yeah, maybe he should go against Ace and Tempao. I think Suriyanlek can match him in terms of size. But anyway, coming back to this one, the fight wasn't that explosive, but it was still entertaining to see how they were going through their strategies in terms of in-fight changing, in terms of surviving it, So yeah, I thought Chatpuchit did enough to win. He didn't like outright make it easy. So I don't even know unanimous was perfect because I think Kuntsuk took one of those rounds. But it was a great fight of both of them. And I'm happy to see that they both made weight as well. So that means we will see them fight more frequently in that atomweight division now that we have a lot more atomweight guys come into the fold to perform. Speaking of, here we had two debutants. I think Samsi Blan, that was his first fight, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so these two guys this was the two debutants on the night, and what a fight! Samsi Blan looks really big for this strawweight. 125, 180, 150. For the strawweight division, they definitely making I thought he was big. I thought he was filled out, and he looked a bit durable enough to take the shots from Unknown. Unknown was definitely smaller than him, but much faster and a lot more creative in terms of the striking. From the first minute, he landed two kicks, one on the calf, one to the body, and he was just being active by doing that. And I think that activity from Unknown was making it difficult for Samsi Blan to actually settle and get into a rhythm and find a distance. He couldn't find anything. He was having a tough time. When he wanted to throw something, Anon was just like, just like watch the punches go past him like it was nothing, and then let his hand work go. And then I think at the end of the first round, there was a moment where Samsi Blan did manage to get Anon in a clinch, and then he landed 3 hard right hands, bang, bang, bang. I thought, okay, he's fighting back. He's starting to find some range. And then the second round, it was like, Anon just turned it up. He was like, okay, I gave you a chance to hit me. That's all you're going to get. Anon went up Super Saiyan 2 and then took it to him, bro. And just started letting his hands go and being very elusive. And then actually, to my surprise, forced the fight to stay in the void. He's like, no, we're going to exchange now. It's going to be a fight. We're going to get into it. And I love that about him because he was quicker and he knew that he could actually get out of the way of Samsi Blan. He was just overwhelming Samsi Blan with a lot of attacks. It was even switch kicks. Staunch switch punches as well. I was like, nah, this dude is styling on him, and then lands a sneaky uppercut, short uppercut, drops Samsi Blan, can't get up from it, doesn't make the 8 count. Wonderful KO in the second round, and I definitely gonna keep tabs on Unknown for sure. I'm keen to check out what he's gonna look like as he progresses, because that style, that way that he fought there was order level times million. My guy was just flowing, and he was just looking fantastic. So I'm definitely gonna keep tabs. I'm definitely gonna keep tabs on Anon. So that my protective glass on my screen broke when I was doing the live stream on Friday. Not Friday. What was it? Last week. Yeah, I dropped my screen, and then luckily the monitor didn't break, but it's just the protective glass is now cracked and some parts come off, and that's what pricked me now. But anyway, you didn't have to know that. Great fight. Need to see what is going to happen next for them. Unfortunately, it was just a debut, so I can't really go and say, okay, let's get this guy, let's give this guy next. They're probably going to have to go through a couple of more unknown fighters like this before we can start giving him recognizable names. And then we have a fight that a lot of people were actually waiting for in our live. They were tuning in for. Avad Gordon versus Seksan Fairtex in the flyweight Muay Thai division. And Avad Gordon just styled on him. Fast, very creative, tall for the flyweight division. He's got a lot of length on him, which I like. Fascinated about that. And he was just making Seksan miss every time. Seksan was trying to fight, don't get me wrong, but he was doing what a lot of the Thai fighters do, is they're so reliant on their durability that they're just willing to walk through those punches so they can land something heavy on you or something hard. But Seksan just couldn't do anything. There was only two moments where he landed a very hard overhand right on Avad Gordon, but Avad took it, and that's what I actually asked for in the fight. When I was saying when I was talking to the guys in the chat, I was saying, I actually want to see what happens to these youngsters, these top talented youngsters that look so creative and so unbeatable, right? What they're going to do when they get cracked hard in the face and they actually take it. I mean, what's going to happen? Are they going to get rocked? How do they fight back? What happens then? And Seksan cracked him twice, and Avad Gordon took it, and he just came back, unleashed 4-punch combination, spinning kick to the body, spinning wheel kick, and I was like, nah, this kid is good. 19 years old, very confident. He now enters the list of a lot of 19-year-olds in One Championship that are just that talented, particularly in this weight class, by the way. There's quite a number of them now in this weight class, and I think that the One Championship is starting to, it feels like they are moving in new guard into the flyweight division, because Rodtang is talking about only 3-4 more times it's going to fight super fights, and then what happens after that? Super X, 28 years old, he probably will only fight as well until maybe he's 30 plus. So they'll be there for some time, but I mean, these 19-year-olds are still going to be very young in 4 years' time. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I got the feeling that we're getting introduced to kind of the new talent that's coming up, the new guard. I expect fighters like Avad Gordon, the Stupanan twins, Freddie Haggerty, Akif Kulazada, Jojo Ghazali. The list goes on. I can't even think, because there's so many in flyweight at the moment. There's so many. And I just got the feeling in 4 years' time they're gonna be, what's the dude that just fought now? But that was strawweight. He was a strawweight. The Ondash brothers, the older one is flyweight, I think, flyweight or bantamweight, and the youngest one, Ramadan Ondash, is strawweight. But the point is, like, there's so many of these youngsters that's in the One Championship now, and Avad Gordon is one of them. The way that he fought against Seksan was just complete style points the whole time. Everything that he threw was just so creative. The only thing I'll dock him down for was that I just didn't see the killer instinct. There was no kill shot. It's a lot of styling, spinning, and doing all this ninja stuff, but there's no kill shot. I want to see a kill shot. You know what I mean? You can be all this talented, you can throw all these things, but what happens if you fight against a fighter that attacks your calves? First minute of the fight, your front leg is done. You can't stand on your front leg. Or they attack you, or someone like Takeru, for example, that style lands a super tip to the rib cage, and now you can't breathe. You know, what happens if a fighter that's very, very good at taking down your base? Because fighters like Avad Gordon and Akif and them, they like to flow and throw a lot of spinning shit, right? Which can tire you out, by the way. They love to throw that stuff. But then what happens if there's a fighter that just stands still and doesn't chase you down and just blocks a lot of your stuff and doesn't fall for all the antics, and then they just tag you on the right points? Inside thigh, outside calf, ribs, sternum. You know what I mean? They're not headhunting you. What happens then? You know what I mean? And that's what I want to see these youngsters go up against, is a fighter that's got a lot of experience against this, you know, because that's what they need. They don't need to be getting all these cans at the moment to kind of level them up, because they've been fighting. Right? And also, I think why I'm saying this is because what I'm noticing about these youngsters is a lot of them don't show a lot of humble. I might get killed for this, but a lot of them don't show a lot of humbleness. They're all very confident and very cocky, and that's fine. You're young and you feel like you're on top of the world. I get that. But you're young and you still have to fight a lot of different types of fighters. A lot. You know what I mean? So I noticed that Ramadan and Dash is starting to slow down and starting to be more humble in the way that he fights and in the way that he approaches fights, and after fights he's starting to be more humble with his word choice as well, and I like that. It's showing me that he's starting to grow. You don't have to just go in there and believe that at 19 years old that you're gonna smash through everybody. You know what I mean? We got these youngsters calling out Superlek. And I'm like, what are you doing, bruh? Do you know the body of work that Superlek has done in his life in this combat sports? And you want to have only 16 fights, and now you want to go and say, oh, I'm undefeated. Let me give me Superlek. Hang on. At least fight the number one contender first, or top 5 fighter first before calling out the champion. But that's not what Avad Gordon is doing. He's not like that. But he does show me the face in the eyes that he's got that smirk of like, I'm that guy. I'm definitely that guy. And he's fun. And he's fun to watch. So I'm keen to see who they give him next. Flyweight Muay Thai. Like I said, there's just a ton of guys. And I don't really want to give one particular name. But I think literally any of those names I mentioned of the youngsters, any one of them against Avad Gordon would make a fantastic fight. It could be co-main event. It could be a good name on a good fight for any fight card. So I think, yeah. Let me know in the comments. Give me a name in the comments who you would see in the flyweight division against someone like Avad Gordon. Then we had Chaba Kao taking on Moa Carlson. This one was a bit of a strange one for me in terms of the scoring. Because I didn't think that Chaba Kao won. Even though I was wanting her to win and I hyped her up on the live and I was like, she's gonna style on Moa Carlson because she's a good fighter. Chaba Kao is that good, dude. She's also only 19 years old, but she can throw down, dude, and she's not scared to go into the firefight. But one thing I noticed when this fight started was the height and reach discrepancy. I had no idea that Moa Carlson was that much bigger and taller. I knew she was taller, but not like to the point where it was freezing Chaba Kao up. Chaba Kao didn't know what to do. She didn't enter the way she normally does. If you watch her fights before this, she's aggressive. She gets in there and she makes it ugly. Elbows, punches. She chases you, not chases you, she walks you down and forces you to fight in that void. Now, I was surprised to see Chaba Kao didn't do any of that until late in the 3rd round. So I was like, something must be off here. I'm missing it. Something must be off because she doesn't usually fight like this. And I've noticed that Moa Carlson was just dancing, looking very calm, very relaxed, stayed in her range, maintained that distance between the two of them. Moa Carlson was controlling that distance the whole time. And I just thought that she won the fight. She was more significant in terms of the strikes that she was landing, She was landing better strikes. She was utilizing the legs better. She tipped more. She attacked the calves more. Every time Chaba Kao wanted to come in or catch a kick, Moa Carlson would sidestep, land something on her. But they gave it to Chaba Kao. And even Chaba Kao, when they announced the name, her face lit up to be like, oh my God. So which I felt like she probably thought she lost the fight as well. That was strange, man. I just don't know how they scored it for her. And I watched it back and I still don't think that she won the fight. Something needs to happen. I think I need to do more research into the scoring system in One Championship and in Muay Thai in particular, because how do you score it against someone who's how do you score it for someone who landed least amount of strikes in the fight, least amount of significant strikes in the fight, did not walk forward, didn't find a way to control the distance, getting pieced up, fought defensively? You can't give the win to that person when you are defending the whole time. So it's very, very confusing. Very, very confusing. But if you felt that the scoring was correct, you know where the comment section is, and you're going to have to drop it in there for me, please, so we can start that debate. I really want to know how they actually gave it to her. It's very shocking. But I would like to see them fight again. I think both women are well on their way to growing. I mean, Moa Carlson is still very young, 21, I think, 22. Chaba Kao is 19, so yeah, I think they will probably run it back again in the future. This fight was also as confusing as the first one. Even though I thought Pet Nakian won, it could go either way. Like Eddie said on the live stream, you wouldn't be surprised if it gone to either one. That's how close it was. The first round, Ubaid was definitely winning. He was landing hard stuff in the first round. Hard boxing combinations, good kicks, just being super aggressive in that first round. And then I think the last 20 seconds, 30 seconds of that first round, he started to slow down. You could see him getting backed up a lot from Pet Nakian. And Pet Nakian started really landing his shots. And actually, at the end of the round, Pet Nakian put his hands up and celebrated. You could see him nod his head as if I got this kid now, because Ubaid slowed down significantly. And then the second round, it was razor close. It would have gone to either one. Just because, even though I thought Ubaid was being backed up the whole of that second round, he was still being very reactive. It didn't make Pet Nakian enter for free. Every time Pet Nakian wanted to come into that void, or every time he did come into that void, Ubaid would land an elbow on him. Hard elbows, knees, get into the clinch. and which is good of him because then it mitigated the punches coming from Petnakian because now they're fighting in the clinch, right? So Ubaid did a very good job of being active every time he was in defense. There was a very active defense from him, and I think that's probably what made him get the win because he was doing that in the round. I thought he was losing. And then in the third round, he definitely lost that third round. Petnakian was the more fresher fighter. He had the better stamina. And he was putting it on Ubaid in that third round, being more active, landing his punches, landing huge. But he was also chasing a lot. He wasn't setting up those right hands. He was also chasing them. But he did land the bigger punches in the third round, making him win that third round. But that second round was narrow and it could have gone the way. But I can see why they tipped it to Ubaid because, like I said, he was just being active in his defense. He wasn't just giving the time to Petnakian to come back into the fight. Even though he was tired, he was still saying, I need to be awake. And when this man comes in, I must land something on him when he comes in. And that's what he was doing. So good performance from Ubaid. Very close. He could have easily lost that fight, but it was a very good fight from both guys. And I want to see more of both of them again. Ubaid needs to manage his stamina a little bit better than that. He goes too hard in that first round for me. I think he needs to be a bit more patient. He had the reach advantage in this fight, so he should have actually been a little bit more patient with his attacks and not just be so aggressive. Because then he could have gotten Petnakian out of there in that second round. And he would have had stamina to survive, But lessons to all be learned. It was a good fight nonetheless. Then we had Gabriela Moram taking on Loilis Manuel. This fight went to unanimous decision. I think it was a debut for Loilis Manuel. Gabriela Moram, this is the first time I watched her. And I noticed that the crowd loved her when she was walked out. They were screaming for her when she came out. So I thought, okay, she must be something good. And I really liked it. I liked how she won the fight. She was being aggressive, had a good stance, attacked the body, bang, 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 then coming up and displayed good boxing combinations, good kicks to the body to set up those, the legs to set up those body strikes. Basically just powered through everything Loilis had. Loilis didn't do anything that could stop. And she was fighting. She was throwing elbows and she was throwing punches back. But it couldn't do anything to Gabriela Moram. Gabriela Moram was just too durable, too strong, too tough, too tall, and just powered through everything Loilis did to her and won the fight. And I was really impressed with her offense, but I wasn't impressed with the defense. I think a stronger fighter than Loilis would actually beat Gabriela Moram because Loilis did land, but none of it was doing anything to her. And she was landing because Gabriela Moram's defense was bad. When she attacks the body 1-2, or when she throws an uppercut, she's dropping her left hand. So she's standing there in a stance. And when she goes forward to throw an uppercut, this hand isn't here. This hand starts to drop as well. And I just uppercutting you, bang, bang. And I'm like, yay, you can get counted. If Loilis just steps to her right, frame off, and cracks you with a straight right, she tags you, my friend. She will tag you. And she did that. But it wasn't doing any damage. Gabriela Moram was able to take it. So I was thinking, a more powerful fighter, a more good technique, good footwork kind of athlete will actually beat up Moram. Because Moram is more like a Terminator, powerful, just walk you down and throw hard stuff at you the whole time. And with good technique, by the way, good volume as well. But I just feel like she leaves a lot of defense open when she throws those 3, 4, 5 punch combinations. And a better fighter than Loilis Manuel will definitely catch Gabriela Moram. But anyway, let's see what this looks like in the future. That 118, what's that strawweight? So I would love to see them. 125 is strawweight, 135 is their bantamweight, 145 is their featherweight, 155 is their light, 155 is their featherweight. Yeah, I'm confused so much. I think it's like a 10-pound difference between the two. So if the 118 Muay Thai for what's that, strawweight, 125, 115, it's atomweight. Loilis is Gabriela Moram is big. She's big for this 118, this weight limit. She looked very stacked actually. But yeah, I do think that a more powerful and a more footwork heavy athlete will take Gabriela Moram out of there. And then the opening bout we had Denny Sisti taking on Shuya Ishiguro. And if you haven't seen this fight, go watch it back. It was absolutely amazing. Denny Sisti started very fast. But once they got to that 4-minute mark, it's a 10-minute round, right? Once 4 minutes was passed in the round, I noticed that Denny started slowing down and he was taking deep breaths in. My mind was like, he was like, yo, where's the water? Someone throw me a bottle of water or something. Whereas in Shuya Ishiguro was just smiling and my guy looked like he was locked in and he was just fishing for leg locks a lot of the time. Eventually, he got the north-south position and he had the north-south choke in there. And in that moment of getting the north-south choke, he was transitioning to getting mount, which I wasn't sure why. Maybe he was starting to add more leverage to it. And then in doing so, Dennis says the transitioned and gave up his back, but his head was still was still caught under the armpit of Ishiguro. And then it basically transitioned into some kind of different rear naked choke. Dude, sickening, absolutely amazing punish. And my guy Ishiguro looked fantastic. I did think he was going to win the fight. Good performance. And that's bantamweight submission grappling. So there's no current champion for that division. So maybe we can see a grappling match in the 173 card. Maybe they have can do an inaugural title bout Ishiguro against someone in that bantamweight division. It'll be really good. Maybe he can run it back with the guy that he lost to. What's Diogo Reis? That would be a good fight. Let's just see. Yeah, Diogo Reis was the guy who beat him. That would be a good fight. Diogo Reis is good. But at the end of the day, it was a good way to start up that fight card. Crazy submission. So yeah, I think go check it back. It was really, really fascinating. But okay, ladies and gentlemen, that is my time. Thank you for tuning in. If you have liked the video, don't forget to drop that like, share it, drop a comment. Let us know your thoughts about these fights. Give me your prediction. Give me your reflection in terms of who was a standout performer of the night, and also who you would like to see some of these guys fight next, especially the ones that won the fights. Would like to see them fight next. But yeah, that is my time. Stay tuned for the new week. We are definitely going to tune in. We're going to do back-to-back live streams for one championship. It's a Friday fight squad. Petanon's taking on Yuki Yoza. There's Fight Night 33, Rodriguez versus Pearson. That's going to be crazy. That's the Saturday. Sunday, there's the UFC. We're not going to be doing a live, but we will do a recap for that UFC. I know it's going to be a shitty card, but we'll do it. We'll watch it and do our recap on it. So stay tuned for all of that. Next week's going to be a fun week. But have a good Sunday or Monday, wherever you're tuning in from, or Saturday, wherever you're tuning in from. Have a good one. Stay blessed. And yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Let's put this music off. Cheers.